chance encounter. For all his pondering, Luke was never going to be able to discover for himself how Xena and Adam had started fucking. Truth was, it was a totally chance encounter several weeks before the twins swapped rooms. Luke was still in the room next to Adam, still sharing the Jack and Jill bathroom. Xena had come into Luke's room to drop off some clean clothes and heard the shower going. The design of both bedrooms was such that you had to enter most of the way into each room before you could see into the bathroom, or be seen. Xena placed Luke's clothes on his dresser, then moved forward in the darkened room to see who was in the shower. She stayed in the shadows, not wishing to disturb whichever boy was in there. It was Adam. He had his eyes closed, washing his hair, and he was sporting a full erection. Xena watched, transfixed, as the rubbing of his hands through his hair made his boner bounce up and down. She sank further back into the shadows and watched her naked son shower. She recalled the last time she had seen him with an erection. It was almost 2 years ago, and she had slipped into his room on the same mission as today, to deliver some of his clean clothes. It was late at night and it was hot. Adam had stripped naked and was laying on the bed, flat on his back, fast asleep. And rising above him was his magnificent young tool. Xena stayed and watched that night too, desperate to bend down and take her son's cock in her hand. She got a little more action this time. Adam had finished rinsing his hair. He stood there for a while admiring himself in the partial reflection from the shower screen before taking his cock in his hand and starting to pump. Xena watched as the beautiful black skin covering his biceps and pecs and abs glistened with the falling water from the shower. Her stare was drawn back to the magnificent shaft in his hand. Her breathing got deeper the more she watched. She was getting hornier by the minute, and there was no way to escape. If she left now, he would see her flash past the doorway. So she stayed and watched, and soon found her hand between her legs, her fingertips dancing over her more than ample clitoris. Adam had the whole afternoon spare, so he took his time. Sometimes he pumped fast, other times slow, and most of the time his other hand was between his legs playing with his balls. More than 10 minutes went by before he thrust his hips forward and blew his load all over the inside of the glass shower screen. Xena had given herself 3 orgasms in the shadows of Luke's room that afternoon. Adam took the soap and turned to face the falling water as he washed the cum from his hands and cock. Xena jumped at the chance and slipped past and out of the room. She darted into her own bedroom, and into the connected ensuite. Taking a large clump of toilet paper, she cleaned up the juice in her pussy and the juice which had run down the inside of both her legs. She wondered if she had left a puddle in the far corner of Luke's room. No matter, he would never connect her with it. She stood there a minute, looking at herself in the mirror. There were tiny beads of sweat on her forehead from her recent orgasms. She wiped them away with the back of her hand and stood there a while longer. She had not felt at all guilty 2 years ago when she stood in Adam's room staring at his cock, and she felt no different now. Truth is, on both occasions she would have loved to wrap her fingers and her lips around her son's mighty tool. That night the rest of the family had given up and gone to bed. Xena and Adam were the only two left watching the tail end of some dumbass movie. Xena was slumped in the corner of the sofa and Adam was slumped against her. "I saw you this afternoon," she ventured, leaving the sentence purposefully ambiguous. "Saw me? Where?" Adam queried sleepily. "In the shower," Xena added with as little emotion as she could muster. "Mom?" Adam shot back, turning to face her. "That's quite a tool you have." Again, devoid of emotion. "Mom." Adam was rightly shocked. He just figured out that his mother had seen him masturbating. What if I had sent Sam in with Luke's laundry? Adam fell silent. After a while he managed a sheepish sorry. He knew the rules about the double bathroom, but was usually too lazy to care. Xena put an arm around him and pulled his head down onto her lap. "What did you see?" he ventured. "Oh, the whole show? I came in while you were washing your hair and left after you had creamed the shower screen. I hope you cleaned it up before you left. You watched me then the whole time I jacked off?" Adam asked, shocked. The boy was left incredulous. "Of course. Just because I'm my age doesn't mean I don't enjoy seeing a boy's nice hard cock." The fact that she had completely ignored the fact that they were mother and son had not escaped the boy. Would it shock you to know that I had my hand between my legs as I watched you?" Xena added. "Mom. Really?" "Sure. Mothers like sex too, you know. Martin and I had sex to make you. We had sex to make the twins, and Sam too." She let that sink in, then continued. "You kids think that sex is just a kid's game. Bullshit. Your dad and I have sex all the time." We just try to keep the noise down so we don't scare the kitties. Zena noticed Adam reach down and adjust his pants. Even talking about sex can get people aroused. I saw you just fiddle with your cock. I'll bet you have the start of a hard-on right now. Adam turned his head to look up at his mother, before she added, you'd probably be shocked to know that just inches below your head I've got a wet pussy right now. Adam sprang away from his mother's lap and sat on the edge of the sofa. Skins. Relax, boy. I'm not about to jump your bones just because I'm a little damp. She grabbed his shirt and pulled the startled boy back down. Adam lap again. She stroked his hair and rubbed his shoulders until he had fully relaxed. Then she took his head in both hands and turned his neck until his nose was buried deep in her snatch. He stayed there feeling her warmth, smelling the steam coming from his mother's hot, wet cunt. Who were you thinking about this afternoon? Some big-ass booty girl at school? Zena quizzed her son. Adam remained completely silent. It's okay, son. Every boy has a fantasy, some girl he's seen that makes him hard. Every girl has one too. I used to get off on football jocks. I love a boy with nice big muscles, and nice big. Zena let her words trail off. Still Adam was silent. It's okay, son. You don't have to tell me. I was just teasing you. A boy's fantasies are sometimes best kept that way. Adam was still silent as Zena rubbed his back again. Finally Adam pulled his face away from his mother's wet pussy and gave Zena his reply. His fantasy. You. Me? Zena was shocked. It is one thing for a middle-aged woman to fantasize about a nice hard boy. It is another for that boy to fantasize about his mother. Why me? She ventured. Earlier you joked about the big-ass booty girls at school. They don't interest me at all. I see the tallest, skinniest girl and I think she looks great. She looks like Mom. After he spoke, Adam turned his head down into his mother's lap again. He didn't want to look her in the eye just now. He nuzzled in, pressing his nose back into his mother's hot, wet snatch. Zena took the chance to reach down and take her son's hard cock in her hand. I can't do anything to help you with this tonight. You are going to have to take it to bed and try not to mess the sheets. Then after a short pause we'll talk about all this again soon. Okay? Adam nodded, face still buried. Now get off to bed and I'll turn off all the lights. Go. Adam rolled away and took himself to his room, pressing his boner to his body as he disappeared from Zena's view. Zena hauled herself out of the corner of the sofa and limped to the kitchen, one leg half asleep from Adam's weight. Returning with a tea towel she wiped the smear of pussy juice from the leather sofa, then lifted her shirt and thrust the rag between her legs. Martin would suspect something if she came to bed with a dripping wet pussy. Once dry, she threw the cloth in the laundry hamper before making a slow trip to bed. Zena had every intention of finding a quiet space and having a talk with her son. Lucy put paid to that when she came to her mother ranting about Sam and demanding that she and Luke swap rooms. After she settled her daughter down, Zena contemplated the situation. When she remembered that athletics was about to start she got right behind the idea. Lucy and Martin would be away and Luke and Sam would be together at the far end of the house. Perfect. The bedroom that Lucy and Sam currently occupied was originally designed as a guest room. As such, it was positioned away from the other bedrooms and had its own generous en-suite bathroom. It was a quiet hideaway for family guests. This made it a fantastic hideaway for a pair of kids wanting to have some privacy. Zena put Lucy's idea to Luke and Sam first. Luke was a good actor so played the situation perfectly. Oh. Sure, Mom. That sounds fine. Sam and I always get along together just great. Zena bought Luke's answer. Anyone would be better than Miss Prima Donna. Sam's answer was always going to be obvious. When questioned whether Luke being a boy was a problem, Sam responded with a nonchalant "Why should that matter?" Adam was easy. Zena just casually mentioned that he would be sharing the bathroom with a girl. Zena knew that neither of them would bother with closing the door after a while, and Adam worked that out too. So to Martin. She thought of all the ways he might object, then 4 ways to counter each argument. When she finally put the idea to him late that night all she got was, "Sounds great. Now she won't wake Sam when she gets up early for athletics." Nothing about boys and girls sharing bedrooms and bathrooms. Nothing. Either he trusted all 4 kids implicitly or simply didn't care what they got up to. So the move was on. And all 4 kids couldn't wait for the end result. They started when they got home from school and by bedtime Lucy and Luke were sleeping in new rooms. Zena did nothing except supervise. The kids did all the work, moving clothes, moving junk, taking posters off the wall and replacing them, everything. The kids worked so hard they all crashed a little earlier than usual, except for Adam. When Zena looked in on him, she found her son sitting up in bed, staring at the ceiling. She closed the behind herself, and the sliding door to the bathroom, before she spoke. "What's up, young man?" "Last night," he began, then stopped. Zena moved to the bed and sat near his feet, one hand on his raised knees. "It's okay, son. You can say anything. You learned a few things about your mother last night. You must have questions." "Well, just before I went to bed you touched my cock and said that you couldn't help tonight." Adam stressed the last word. "Does that mean? Before I answer, I have a question for you ... and I want an honest answer." Zena paused. "I have been really honest with you and I don't need any bullshit." "Okay?" Zena looked him straight in the eye as he responded. "Okay. Are you a virgin?" she asked in a serious tone. Without hesitation Adam responded in an equally serious voice. "Yes. No quickies in the backseat with some big-ass girl?" "No." "Okay, I believe you." Zena let the room go quiet for a moment before she began again. "So when you do find the girl you love, do you want the first night with her to be all fumbles and fuck-ups?" Zena paused. "Or do you want to get a little training beforehand so that you can be the big, black stud you always dreamed you'd be?" What are you saying?" Adam stammered a little. "What I'm saying, what I'm offering, is for you to get some fucking practice with me. Some fathers take their sons to hookers to get some experience. I'm happy for you to get that experience with me. But you're my mother." Adam replied in a whisper. "The mother you were fantasizing about in the shower yesterday." Zena replied in a similar whisper. "Yeah. And? What if Dad finds out?" Zena could see that Adam had accepted the basic idea. He was now working through the side issues. "That is my problem. I can be pretty sneaky, you know ... and Lucy and Luke swapping rooms makes it easy." "How come?" Adam failed to see the connection. "When Lucy goes to athletics next Saturday, who is left in the house?" "You, me, and the brats," Adam replied ... "and the brats, as you so impolitely call them, are way down in the guest room." Zena finished the sentence as a question. "Oh." Adam finally understood. "So, how about next Saturday when Lucy starts athletics training? You and me start a little training of our own." "What do you want me to do?" Adam was in. "You will wake up when Lucy does. Go to the toilet and wait about 10 minutes after you hear the car leave. Then just tiptoe into my room and lock the door behind you." Zena paused. "Just make sure the brats don't see you." "What then?" "Antisy ... passion, son." Zena left a pregnant pause in the middle of the word. "Being made to wait always makes people more horny. So you'll just have to wait and see." Zena gave Adam's knee a little rub, then rose from the bed to leave. She was wearing a house dress made from t-shirt fabric. Facing the door, and away from Adam, she bent at the waist and ran her hands down across her ass. Adam watched as her fingertips followed deep into her ass crack, showing him the complete outline of his mother's tight little butt. Adam jacked off in his bed that night with a new version of his favorite fantasy running around in his head.